Namaste, I am Dr. B. Krishna Reddy, Principal of Samara Krishna Agricultural Polytechnic College, Tangela Varipalli, near Mudivedu, Tamballapalli Mandal, Chittoor district. Today, lecture number 13 in course number 153, that is Engineering Chemistry. This today's lecture 13 is related to polymers, basic concept of polymerization, plastics, characteristics of plastics, advantages and disadvantages of plastics, and classification of plastics. We know very well the usage of plastics in agriculture is increasing day by day. So this lesson is very important for the agricultural diploma students, and so every student is expected to be thorough with the subject matter. First, let us see what is polymers. Polymers, it is a Greek word. Poly means many, mers means units or parts. It is a substance where many units are joined together in a form of a chain. So polymers are macromolecules, that is giant molecules of high molecular mass built up by the linking together of a large number of small molecules or monomers. So polymer is nothing but a macromolecules, very big molecules. They are built by way of linking together many smaller molecules, that is monomers. So many monomers join together and form a bigger molecules of gigantic size known as polymers. Example, polythene is a polymer formed by linking together of large number of ethane molecules. So the general polythene paper which we see in the normal usage is a polymer which is formed by linking together of large number of ethane molecules. Thus, small molecules which combine with each other to form a polymer molecules are termed as monomers. As already know that these smaller molecules which constitute the polymer bigger molecules are known as monomers. The number of repeating units in chain formed in a polymer is known as the degree of polymerization. So what is the degree of polymerization means? This is nothing but number of monomers that join together to form a polymer. So types of polymerization. The process of forming monomers into polymers is known as polymerization. Now let us see the types of polymerizations. Addition or chain polymerization. In this, it is a reaction that yield a product which is an exact multiplication of original monomeric molecules. Such a monomeric molecules usually contain one or more double bonds. The addition polymerization reaction must be initiated by the application of heat, pressure, or catalyst for breaking down the double bonds of the monomers. Actually, in this type of polymerization, the basic chemical reaction starts with the breaking of the double bond that is present in the monomer. For example, in our given example, ethane it is a monomer. Here there is a double bond. It will get broken and form into single bond. Then the addition polymerization reaction must be initiated by the application of heat, pressure, or catalyst. Catalyst. So in this breaking down, what is needed is heat, pressure, and usage of some catalyst is required so that the double bond present in the monomers will get broke down, and then they will form into a chain of monomers, very long chain of monomers, resulting in a very lengthy, big molecules of polymers. This is the addition or chain polymerization. So we can represent the entire reaction like this. Here it is a monomer, ethane. It is its molecular structure, that is C connected with double bonds another C, H, H, and n number of C double H, C double H. Then rearrangement will happen at a high heat, light, pressure, or catalyst. So in the presence of heat, pressure, or in the presence of a catalyst, it becomes, here the double bond will break. This is bifunctional molecules. This is known as a, so this is converted like this, that is breaking of the double bond and single bond will be there. This is bifunctional molecule. Then this get polymerization. That is, this chain will get extended indefinitely. So many monomers will join one after the other in a chain form, resulting in the polythene. That is polythene E, which is nothing but a polymer. So here addition or chain. So polymerization means this type of monomer molecules, after breaking up the double bond between the two carbon atoms, will become bifunctional molecules. These molecules will join together one after the other by, that is something like a addition. So and forms a big chain, resulting in the polythene, which is a polymer. Then second method of polymerization is condensation or step polymerization. It is a reaction occurring between monomers containing simple polar groups with the formation of a polymer and elimination of small molecules like water, HCl, etc. For example, hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid condenses to form a polymer, namely nylon 6E26. So here in the condensation process, for example, hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid, they get condensed. In the condensation process, the polymers will be produced. So the equation are there is as under hexamethylene diamine. That is, simply we can say it as a diamine. This is the structure. Nitrogen element will have two hydrogen atoms on both sides connected by a bond. Likewise, there will be another carbon atom. So this is the structure of a hexaethylene diamine, and this is the adipic acid. This is adipic acid. When this hexaethylene diamine and adipic acid condensed together, that is condensation process. Through condensation process, polymerization takes place. Here, H2O molecules will come out, and as a result, polythene polyhexamethylene adipate, that is simply known as nylon 66, is formed. That is a polythene. polymerization. In the polymerization, this is the structure which is nothing but a nylon 6:6. That means by condensing hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid, we get the polymer known as nylon through condensation process in which water molecules are released. Then copolymerization. This is the third type. It is the joint polymerization of two or more monomer species. Here, this is also joint polymerization of many monomers, but they belongs to different species. In the previous cases, it is the same species of monomers that join together to form a polymer. Whereas in this copolymerization process, though the monomers join together to form a polymer, here the monomers belongs to different species, two or more species. This is the difference. High molecular weight compounds obtained by copolymerization are called copolymers. So the copolymers are nothing but the polymers obtained by high polymer weight compounds. For example, copolymerization of butadiene and styrene produces GRS rubber. So if it is to be represented in a equation form, you can write X butadiene plus N styrene. Through copolymerization, it gives to styrene butadiene rubber. So if you want to put in a molecular structure form, butadiene 75 parts and styrene 25 parts, when they react with each other, this is their molecular structure. This is one monomer. This is different species of monomer. Due to copolymerization process, polybutadiene co-styrene or styrene butadiene rubber (SBR) is formed. So students are expected to write these molecular structures of the monomers as well as the resulting polymer also. Plastics and resins. Plastics or plastic materials are organic polymers of high molecular weight. So these are, what is a plastic? Plastic is nothing but a organic polymer of higher molecular weight which can be molded into any desired form when subjected to heat and pressure in the presence of a catalyst. That means the character of a plastic is that when these plastics are subjected to heat and pressure in the presence of a catalyst, it can be molded into any desirable form. Resins are the basic binding materials which form a major part of the plastics. In this, what is a resin? Resin is a basic binding material that is present in the plastic in a major to the major extent and which actually has undergone polymerization and condensation reaction during their preparation. However, the term resins and plastics are nowadays considered synonymous. That means they are used interchangeably. But there is a difference. So, resin is nothing but a basic binding material which forms a major part in the plastic. That means resin is a part of plastic. That means plastic will have, in addition to resins, some other materials. But in the common parlance, resins and plastics are used as a synonyms. Then plastics have attained great importance in every walk of life due to their properties like lightweight, very low thermal expansion, chemical inertness, transparency, low maintenance cost, electrical insulation, corrosion resistance, adhesiveness, easy workability for molding, drilling and soil. So the plastics nowadays have attained a greater importance in every walk of life. That means ఈ కాలంలో ప్లాస్టిక్ ను వాడనటువంటి ఫీల్డ్ అనేది మనం చూడక అంటే ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఎవ్రీ వాక్ ఆఫ్ లైఫ్ అంటే ప్రతి చోట మనిషి జీవనంలో ఈ ప్లాస్టిక్ ఉపయోగం అనేది ఎంతో ప్రాధాన్యతను సంతరించుకున్నది. ఎందుకు ఈ ప్లాస్టిక్ అనేది ఇంతగా మానవ జీవితంలో ఇంపార్టెన్స్ పొందింది అంటే కారణాలు ఒకటి లైట్ వెయిట్, చాలా హెవీ వెయిట్ ఉందనుకోండి యూసేజ్ కొంతవరకు ఇబ్బంది అయ్యేది. ప్లాస్టిక్ అనేది లైట్ వెయిట్ కాబట్టి ఈజీ టు హ్యాండిల్. దెన్ వెరీ లో థర్మల్ ఎక్స్పాన్షన్, దట్ మీన్స్ కంపేర్ టు అదర్ మెటల్స్ ప్లాస్టిక్ అనేది థర్మల్ ఎక్స్పాన్షన్ తక్కువ, అంటే వేడి వలన ఎక్స్పాండ్ అయ్యే గుణము, టెంపరేచర్ తగ్గినప్పుడు సంకోచుకుని కాంట్రాస్ట్ అయ్యే గుణము చాలా తక్కువ. అందువలన వేరియస్ టెంపరేచర్స్ దగ్గర దీనిని వాడేదానికి ఆస్కారం. నెక్స్ట్ కెమికల్ ఇనర్ట్నెస్, అంటే ఈ ప్లాస్టిక్ మిగతా కెమికల్ మెటీరియల్తో కాంటాక్ట్ లోకి వచ్చినప్పటికీ ఇది కెమికల్ రియాక్షన్ చేరిపి దీని యొక్క ప్రాపర్టీస్ మారిపోవు. అంటే ఇది కెమికల్ గా ఇనర్ట్ గా ఉంటుంది, అంటే వేరే కెమికల్స్ తో ఈజీగా రియాక్ట్ అవ్వదు. నెక్స్ట్ ట్రాన్స్పరెన్సీ, ప్లాస్టిక్ జనరల్ గా కొన్ని రకాలైన ప్లాస్టిక్స్ చూడడానికి చాలా ట్రాన్స్పరెంట్ గా ఉంటాయి, అంటే క్లియర్ గా ఉంటాయి. లో మెయింటెనెన్స్ కాస్ట్, ఇంకొకటి కంపేర్డ్ టు అదర్ మెటల్స్ ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఐరన్ అండ్ అదర్ metals, they are subjected to wear and tear and rusting etc, which leads for a higher maintenance cost, whereas plastics are not subject to such problems. So maintaining a plastic equipment or plastic materials will be very cheap, it can be maintained very easily without much cost. Then electrical insulation, that means like metals it will not be a good conductor of the electricity. So as a electrical insulating material this can be used. Then corrosion resistance, compared to metals plastic is less corrosiveness, so it will not get easily corroded, అంటే ఇది ఈజీగా అరిగిపోదు కరిగిపోదు, అంటే corrosion resistant compared to metals. దెన్ అడ్హెసివ్నెస్, అంటే అతుకుకునే గుణం ఇందులో ఉంటుంది. ఈజీ వర్కబిలిటీ, దీన్ని వాడి పని చేయడం ఈజీగా, దేనికి మౌల్డ్ చేయాలనుకున్నా మనకు కావాల్సిన షేప్ లాగా మర్చుకోవచ్చు, ఏదైనా డ్రిల్ చేయాలంటే ఈ ప్లాస్టిక్ లో డ్రిల్లింగ్ ఈజీగా అవుతుంది, లేదు సాయిల్ అంటే రంపం తీసుకొని కోసేదానికి కూడా ఇది తేలికగా కోయబడుతుంది. దీనివల్ల ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈజీ ఫర్ వర్కింగ్, ఫర్ మౌల్డింగ్, డ్రిల్లింగ్ అండ్ సాయిల్. సో ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఈ ప్లాస్టిక్ ఉపయోగము ఎక్కువగా ఉండడానికి ఈ ప్లాస్టిక్ ఉన్నటువంటి ముఖ్యమైనటువంటి గుణాలుగా చెప్పొచ్చు. ఇవన్నీ కూడా విద్యార్థులు గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం. దెన్ అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాస్టిక్, ఇక్కడ అడ్వాంటేజెస్ అనే వర్డ్ కంటే కూడా యూసేజ్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాస్టిక్స్ అంటే కరెక్ట్ గా ఉంటుంది అనిపిస్తుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ వాట్ ఈస్ ద అడ్వాంటేజెస్ ఆర్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద యూజెస్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్లాస్టిక్? సో ఫర్ మేకింగ్ వేరియస్ గుడ్స్, అంటే రకరకాల వస్తువులను తయారు చేయడానికి ప్లాస్టిక్ ను వాడుతుంటారు. ఫర్ మేకింగ్ హ్యాండిల్స్ ఫర్ టూల్స్ అండ్ కవర్స్ ఫర్ మెషిన్స్, అంటే పరికరాలకి హ్యాండిల్స్, కొడవలికి హ్యాండిల్ కానీ, ఎక్విప్మెంట్ హ్యాండిల్, పార్లకు హ్యాండిల్స్ కానీ, లేదా మిషన్స్ కవర్స్, ఇలాంటి వస్తువులు తయారు చేయడాన్నిటికి కూడా ప్లాస్టిక్ ని విరివిగా వాడతారు. ఫర్ మేకింగ్ టేబుల్ టాప్స్, ప్లాస్టిక్ టేబుల్ టాప్స్ తయారు చేయడం, విండ్ స్క్రీన్స్, ఫ్లోర్ అండ్ వాల్ లైనింగ్స్ అంటే ఫ్లోరింగ్ వేయడానికి కానీ లేదా వాల్ లైనింగ్ కూడా ప్లాస్టిక్ మెటీరియల్స్ ను వాడతారు. ఫర్ మేకింగ్ ఎలక్ట్రికల్ అప్లయన్సెస్ లైక్ స్విచెస్, plugs, holders, radio and TV cabinets. So this is everybody's knowledge that electrical appliances అంటే స్విచ్ బోర్డులు, వైర్లు, ప్లగ్స్, బల్బ్ హోల్డర్స్, రేడియో టీవీ యొక్క క్యాబినెట్స్, everything what we see in day-to-day life in the household area are made up of plastics. For heat and insulation in cold storage, theaters, air conditioners, etc. Here also plastic is used. For making hose, water tubes, electrical cabinets, packing bags, telephone pots. So these are also the usages of the plastic. And plastic is also used in making overhead water tanks, pipes to convey water, oil or gases. So it is everybody's knowledge that plastic is used for making big overhead tanks and also irrigation pipes where batteries will be conveyed, and also to convey the oils and gases also plastic pipes are used. For making household articles like combs, ties, trays, syringes, etc. In medical field, in fact syringes and so many other medical equipment are made out of plastic only. And combs, very domestic used to combs, children's toys, trays, and whatnot. Most of the things that are in use either in domestic or in industries or in hospitals are made up of plastic. So we cannot find any area or any situation where plastic is not being used. So it is almost universal. Everybody on everyday day-to-day basis, plastic is being used. Next, disadvantages of the plastic. So when there are advantages or usages, there bound to be some disadvantages or problems in using it, or because of their usage, some untoward things will happen to the environment also. Those things are: number one, plastic is harmful because it is non-biodegradable. That is, it takes hundreds or sometimes thousands of years for the plastic to break down. Actually, any material, either plant or animal origin, after death, it will get decay or it will get disintegrated into different elements and get mixed up with the soil. That is known as breakdown, biological breakdown. Unless such breakdown happens, there will not be, there going to be a lot of pollution. Whereas this plastic biodegradability or breakdown is very slow process. That means for the plastic to break down, it will take hundreds of years and some cases even thousands of years. This results in the danger for the environment. Number two, plastic has some toxic pollutants that damage the environment. Certain plastics are poisonous in nature or toxic to the animals and even plants also, and cause land, water, and air pollution. Number three, plastic is burned. It releases dangerous chemicals such as hydrochloric acid, sulfur dioxide, dioxins, furans, which can cause respiratory ailments and even cancer. So, when the plastic is burnt, then also it results in the release of harmful gases which are causing lot of respiratory problems, and sometimes they are carcinogenic in nature. That is, these fumes will cause cancer in human beings. Then Classification of plastic or resins. Plastics or resins are two types, that is thermoplastic and thermosetting resins. First one, thermoplastic resins. Resins are plastics which can be softened on heating and hardened reversibly on cooling. So these thermoplastics means these are the type of plastics which on heating will become soft. When they are cooled, they become hard. That is why the name thermoplastic resins. On heating, they become soft and remain soft as long as they are hot. On cooling, they regain their original rigidity and become hard. Repeated heating and cooling do not alter their chemical nature because the changes involved are purely physical in nature. That means this type of plastics can be used and reused many times because even if it is subjected to high temperature and melted and again cooled to get a desired shape, it will not alter their chemical nature because this change from solid to liquid is only physical in nature. Such plastics are formed as a result of addition polymerization. This type of thermoplastics are the products of addition polymerization. Now we have studied that is the first type of polymerization. So through the process of addition polymerization, these thermoplastics are produced and they have long chain molecular structures. For example, celluloid, polythene, PVC, polystyrene, plexiglass, nylon. These are the various types of thermoplastics. So students are expected to remember the examples also. Then the second one is thermosetting resins or thermostats. Those resins which get hardened during the molding process and cannot be softened by heating once they have solidified. That is, they are permanent setting resins. These thermostats or thermosetting resins are the ones at only one time the soft form once become hard during the molding process, then it remains to be solid at all temperatures. That means it cannot become once again soft or liquid type when it is heated. So that means once for all it become hard and brittle. It cannot be softened even if you subject these to the temperatures. These resins during molding acquire three-dimensional cross-linked structures with predominantly molding strong covalent bonds. Why this is happening is at the time of molding in this type of plastics, what happens is it acquires three-dimensional length, breadth, and height, three-dimensional cross-linked structures, cross-linked rigid structures with predominantly molding strong covalent bonds. That means at this time it forms into strong, it will have a strong covalent bonds. So after getting it molded, then reverting back to soften the material is very difficult or impossible. These bonds retain their strength even on heating, even if you subject them to heat, because of these strong covalent bonds, it will not get alter its shape. So they do not get softened. If heating is prolonged, they get charred. Suppose if you go on increasing the heating with the intention to make them soft, instead of becoming soft, they will get charred అంటే మాడిపోతాయి. కొన్ని ప్లాస్టిక్ మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేయొచ్చు ఇది ఎప్పుడైనా హీట్ చేస్తుంటే కొన్ని అయితే కరిగిపోయి జారిపోతుంటాయి. అది ఫస్ట్ టైప్. కొన్ని ప్లాస్టిక్లు కరగవు కానీ మాడిపోతాయి. సో దాన్ని ఏమంటే చారింగ్ అంటాం. ఇది సెకండ్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాస్టిక్. దే ఆర్ యూజువల్లీ హార్డర్, స్ట్రాంగర్ అండ్ మోర్ బ్రిటిల్ దాన్ ది థర్మోప్లాస్టిక్. బ్రిటిల్ అంటే ఇది ఈజీగా ఇరిగిపోయేవు, అంటే ఆల్మోస్ట్ లైక్ ఎ మెటల్. ఇఫ్ యూ ట్రై టు బెండ్ ఇట్, it will break down instead of bending. That is, it will be brittle in nature. Even at high temperatures, instead of becoming soft, they will get charred. So this is the nature of thermosetting resins, or otherwise known as thermostats. Example of such plastics is bakelite, polyester, silicone resins, polyurethanes. So students are requested to remember one or two examples at least. Then comparison of thermoplastics and thermosetting resins. It, we already studied all this, but here is a tabular concise form which students can read and remember. The first column is thermoplastic resins, and the other column is a thermosetting resins. Number one, formed by addition polymerization. Thermoplastics are formed by addition polymerization, whereas thermosetting resins are formed by condensation polymerization. Two, consist of long chain linear polymers with negligible cross linkings, whereas thermosettings they have a three-dimensional network structure. I think we already studied these two things. Number three, they soften on heating, whereas here do not soften on heating. That we told that it will get charred. Number four, they can be reused by heating and remolding the used material. This also we have discussed. Thermoplastics, since they will not change in their chemical nature in spite of repeated heating and cooling, these type of plastics can be reused by heating and making into desired materials. Whereas thermosettings cannot be reused as they retain shape and structure, as they retain their shape and structure on heating. In spite of heating, still they will retain their shape without getting softened. Then usually soft, weak and less brittle. Thermoplastics are less brittle, they will be soft and they will be weak. Whereas thermosettings are hard, strong and more brittle. Thermoplastics are can be reclaimed from waste. Since they can be reused, these thermoplastics can be reclaimed from wastages. After usage, even after breaking this type of plastics, we need not waste them. These plastics can be recycled and therefore it can be reused. So it is known as a reclaiming from the waste materials. Whereas thermosettings cannot be reclaimed from the waste. So they are more harmful for the environment because they cannot be reused. It is something like a one use and throw. So that means a lot of this type of thermosetting resins will end up in the landfills and in water bodies, causing lot of harm because they cannot be reused. They will cause lot of pollution in the air, water and soil also. Usually, thermoplastics are soluble in some organic solvents. So thermoplastics are, if they are put in some organic solvents, they will get solubilized. Whereas thermosettings are insoluble in almost all organic solvents. Now coming to the examples, as we already studied, thermoplastics examples are celluloid, polythene, PVC, polystyrene, plexiglass, and nylon. Examples of thermosetting resins are bakelite, polyester, silicone resins, and polyurethanes, etc. So with this uh, lesson number or lecture number 13 is over. Thank you.